Hello friends, welcome to Noble Literature Classes. In this lecture, we'll be doing Dryden's essay of dramatic poesy. It was published in 1668, the same year in which King Charles II appointed him England's first poet laureate. Now, John Dryden, born in 1631, died in 1700, and his death marks the end of the Restoration era. And T.S. Eliot also called him the most important writer in the 18th century. Now he was a playwright, a critic, a poet, and a translator, and he popularized the famous heroic couplet, which was used uh, rigorously after him. He also introduced the use of Alexandrine and triplets in that form. Now, Auden, W. H. Auden, he referred to him as the master of the middle style. Middle style is a kind of writing style in which the writing style is very emotional, very soft, and Auden referred to him as the master of it. Now, Wordsworth criticized him slightly, although he also was fan of Dryden, but he criticized him slightly for being a kind of artificial. He said that Dryden's imitation of nature, it's not up to the mark. But besides Wordsworth, almost all of the other romantic poets admired Dryden and they knew the greatness of his work. John Keats is supposed to have imitated his Lamia from from John Dryden's fables, the fables ancient and modern. Now let us have a look at his notable works: Absalom and Achitophel, Marriage a la Mode, Macflecknoe, the famous satire, The Hind and the Panther, The Wild Gallant, then Annus Mirabilis, Fables Ancient and Modern to His Sacred Majesty, Religio Laici, or A Layman's Faith, of Domestic Poesy, an essay. And the last one here is especially of importance to us because this was his most famous work in the history of neoclassical criticism. So, like Plato's Republic or Symposium, Dryden writes his essay as a dialogue. The dialogue happens between four men sailing across the Thames River on the eve of the Second Anglo Dutch War of 1665. Now, all four of them agree that art is an imitation. Now, there is a dialogue going on, and they keep on saying a few contradictory statements to each other, but these are the three things on which all three of them actually agree. Number one, art is an imitation, the mimetic theories. Number two, art should teach and please, the theories of Horace. Number three, art must follow decorum, the same theories of Horace or Longinus, you can say. तो अब देखते हैं कि उनके डायलॉग में ऐसा था क्या. तो तीन चीज़ें थी. फर्स्ट थिंग वाज द डिबेट के एंशियंट्स क्यों इम्पोर्टेंट है. दूसरी चीज़ थी कि डेकोरम के ऊपर उन्होंने डिबेट किया अबाउट द थ्री यूनिटीज़. और तीसरी थी दैट विच इज़ बेटर, इंग्लिश और द फ्रेंच थिएटर. तो तीनों चीज़ें देखेंगे बारी बारी से. फर्स्ट वन, सबसे पहला फर्स्ट फेज ऑफ डिबेट, दैट मस्ट वी इमिटेट द एंशियंट्स, कैन वी सरपास देम. एक आदमी बोलता है कि क्यों ज़रूरी है हमें एंशियंट्स को कॉपी करना, अगर वो हमसे ग्रेटर हैं तो हम उनको कभी सरपास ही नहीं कर पाएंगे, और अगर वो हमसे ग्रेटर नहीं भी है तो ज़रूरत क्या है. तो जो दूसरा है वो भी ऐसा ही कोई जवाब कहता है कि चलो मान लिया हमने उनको कॉपी कर लिया, तब भी अगर सक्सेसफुल हुए तो लोग कहेंगे दैट दे आर कॉपिंग समवन, और अगर फेल हुए तो लोग कहेंगे कि इनमें तो इतना टैलेंट नहीं है कि ये कॉपी करके भी सक्सेसफुल हो जाए. तो वाई शुड वी कॉपी द एंशियंट्स. नाउ द थर्ड पर्सन, एक्चुअली ही इज़ द ऑल्टर ईगो ऑफ ड्राइडन, ये कहता है कि वी हैव प्रोग्रेस्ड एक्चुअली एज दे ओनली हैड नेचर टू इंस्पायर देम, बट वी हैव नेचर एज वेल एज द एंशियंट्स. तो तीसरा कहता है कि ऑब्वियसली यार हम उनसे ज़्यादा बेहतर करेंगे बिकॉज उनके पास इंस्पिरेशन के लिए ओनली नेचर थी, बट वी हैव देम ऑल्सो, वी कैन लर्न फ्रॉम देयर मिस्टेक्स, वी कैन write better stuff than them. And so, in the end, all of them agree that ancients must be honored always. Coming on to the second phase, they talk about the three unities. Now, the three unities, they were given by Aristotle and Horace, but they were codified by the French neoclassicals of the time of Dryden. Who were those three? Racine, Corneille, and Beaulieu. Now let's talk about the three unities. First is the unity of time. They say that the whole plot should be continuous and there should not be any gap in the time. Like it should not be ke ekdam se we are talking about 10 years ago, then suddenly we have gone 10 years ahead. The maximum gap that is allowed is only 12 hours. Second unity is that of the place. They say that everything should happen in a single place. Third unity, the unity of action, it says that जो कुछ भी होगा it should all happen within a single main plot. और जो main plot है it in no way should be undissolved by the interweaving subplots. यानी कि छोटी मोटी जो भी चीज़ें हो रही हैं, जब हीरो की सिस्टर के साथ कुछ हो रहा है या उसके फ्रेंड्स के साथ कुछ हो रहा है या उसकी गर्लफ्रेंड, all these subplots should not affect or dissolve the importance of the main plot. Now आप लोगों के लिए एक छोटा सा होमवर्क है. You have to find and comment a Bollywood movie in the comments down below which contains all three unities. I'll be waiting for your answer. Now, the third thing in their dialogues is about the importance of French and English theatre. They try to compare them and contrast the theatres of the France and English. Now, during this dialogue, one of them who thinks कि French theatre is better than English theatre, वो कहता है कि the French theatre or the French plays, they always follow the three unities. They always follow the decorum. इसलिए the French plays are unified and decorous. But the English plays, they never follow the unities. He doesn't say never, but he says that they do not follow the unities. Here you can take the example of Shakespeare. In fact, he broke all the unities and still he was the most successful playwright ever. Now he says that English plays, although they are lively, but they are not unified and they are not decorous. That is why they are not better than the French plays. Now Dryden's alter ego, he tries to justify and take the side of the English play, and he says that English plays are far better than the French plays because they are not afraid to part their way from the ancients whenever it is required. कि हर वक्त हमें ज़रूरी नहीं है कि हम तीनों यूनिटीज़ फॉलो करें. इफ़ यू लुक एट शेक्सपियर, he broke the three unities, but still he was very, very successful. So, although we respect the ancients and we respect their decorum, but we will not be bound by their decorum. So, that was the main content in the dramatic poesy. What could be the moral we can take out? It is that neoclassical artists are not enslaved, they are not slaves of the ancients, that they will produce the photocopies of the ancient art. The neoclassicals will only use the ancient decorum when it is in sync with the nature, and the decorum is not some handcuff which will bound the neoclassicals. The decorum is a touchstone which will keep the neoclassicals on track. Touchstone is the stone which is used to check the authenticity of gold, and I don't know how they do it, but it is that thing. So that is what they said, and this is what the lecture was about. Thank you very much. If you like the video, give a thumbs up. If you have any doubt or you have anything to say, do comment down below. Please subscribe to the channel for more such interesting videos, and take care.